drum roll.
Okay.
Ooh.
Welcome to Rimmington. Just west of Port Sarum, there stands a small settlement comprised of a few villagers and shopkeepers. Notably, Rimmington is home to a general store, a crafting shop, and a ranging shop, as well as a witch for some reason. It's pretty much deserted, like a ghost town. Most people are just passing through on their way up to the large mining pit north of the town. And deserted it was. That was, until an update in 2019 brought some new life to this ghost town. Alfred Stonemason and his plank making partner set up shop here outside of this house portal. With their addition, we get access to something that many of us playing this game after all these years do not have: home ownership. This chunk will require a lot less monotonous grinding than the last one, but that doesn't mean it won't still require some elbow grease. Our key requirements for this chunk are as follows. We need to get 50 hunter to collect red dragonhide vambraces and blue dragonhide shafts from the eclectic imps. We need to train our magic to 66 to cast vulnerability, which is unlocked now that we have essence implings and all of their runes. Stompy, the resident smithy, must get 40 smithing to smelt a gold bar obtained from the mining pit. Adamant is not considered for smithing, as we cannot get luminite, but we must mine it. Also, as we can access teak and mahogany logs from grotworms, we also must get 40 construction, the lowest level needed to use a mahogany plank. On that topic, as we can get mahogany logs, we must also get 50 firemaking to be able to burn one. As we can access curry leaves from implings, Stompy must get 60 cooking and create and cook a curry. We are backlogging the agility grind until a training method is unlocked. We're backlogging equipping a royal bolt until we can make the bow to actually use it. You will note it's only requiring me to get 50 hunter instead of 90 to catch a kingly imp. That's because it is only requiring me to catch the implings that are always spawned within Puro Puro. And to finish off this list, for our quests, we have to complete the entirety of the Songs from the Depths quest, complete the Impressing Locals quest up until the final step, and start the Once Upon a Slime quest. With all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and step into the Rimmington chunk. Since so many of the goals in this chunk rely on catching implings in Puro Puro, I think it's a great idea to start off by heading inside and getting a feel for what's in store. The crop circle doesn't always spawn here, so if I need to get back inside, I do have to world hop and eventually find a world with the entrance. This means I'm generally incentivized to leave as little as possible, as it can sometimes take a while to find one. In the previous episode, I got 1700 just in case I got this chunk, so I'm able to catch baby implings. The experience per hour here is not very good, so let's cash out and head back to the farm to get a couple of levels before we continue hunting. The goal before we go back to the maze will be 28 hunter, so that we can catch gourmet implings. They're going to give us one of our chunk task items, curry leaves. This is why we have a 60 cooking grind. Thankfully, our last chunk already had Stompy get his cooking up, but this will be a lot more sardines he'll need to cook. And with that, we are now 28 hunter and can head back to our yellow prison. I just wanted to show you the joys of Puro Puro on a chunk account. We have very limited access to runes, so binding the implings isn't really worth the effort. And also my hunter level is still very low, so I'll often miss 3 to 4 times in a row per impling. Against all odds, I still managed to get 30 hunter, and honestly, it's not so bad. It's just annoying. I decided to get a small backlog of jars that'll help me when I come back, but for now I'm going to head to the farm for a little while to get some levels to make this process a little less arduous. 36 hunter, meaning we can catch earth implings. I had exactly enough oogle roots, so we can head straight over and give it a test. The experience per hour definitely has gone up, and with it we have hit 40 hunter. At a rate of 1 in 100, we obtained a U shield bow from a young Impling. This will be our best in slot until we roll a chunk with either a magic or elder tree. As enthralling as the endless hunter grind may be, I decided to take a small break and start chipping away at the magic training I need to do. Getting to 66 will not be a small feat. Although it's not a chunk task, I am trying to get my prayer up whenever possible. It'll pay off in the future if we ever roll a bossing chunk. 40 magic. Every level we get is increasing our hit chance, which in turn means more kills per hour. That was a nice break, but back to the grind. We're now 42 hunter, which means essence implings. Not only does that mean more experience per hour, but we also can get the magic butterfly net now. Let's just see how much better this butterfly net is, as well as all these new levels I've gotten. Oh. 45 hunter. That only leaves 5 more levels to go until we can catch eclectic implings. Speaking of, there we go. Now that we can catch these pesky little buggers, we just need to get 2 1 in 100 dropped from them to call this leg of the grind over. It's time for a Puro Puro fun fact. The Impling defenders will always release your lowest tier Impling when they decide to do so. By carrying a baby Impling with me, I'm effectively protecting my better Implings. Just to try and feel alive for a moment, I like to save up a full inventory of Implings to open all at once. This doesn't help at all, but yet I still do it anyway. It sounds like chiropractics. With this Impling, we're hitting 53 hunter, meaning we can now catch gray Chinchampas. As they're over there, and we're over here, that's going to be about as useful as sunscreen for the average Runescape player. Alright, I've been hogging the screen. Let's check in on Stompy and see how his tasks are coming along. This just in. Cooking still sucks. Stompy, being the braver of the two of us, decided to go ahead and take on the grotworms first. Stompy, being the braver of the two of us, also died first. So take that, bravery. Thankfully though, as luck would have it, we actually do have the option to respawn in Ashdale, meaning we never actually have to leave our chunk. So that's one small win. Yeah, not being center of attention kinda sucks, so look at me, I got another hunter level. Keep in mind as we hit 55 hunter here, that if at any point I'm able to pull the red dragonhide vambraces and the blue dragonhide chaps, we'll be done with this Puro Puro grind. I'm only here because I need those 2 items, not for levels. I really do want to impose on you how many Implings I'm catching between each of these levels. Every time you're seeing this level pop-up screen, it means I've caught like several hundreds of Implings. It is torture in here. Oh, wonderful. With this item, it means we have literally every single item we could have possibly gotten, except for the 2 that we need. Oh, okay, there we go. That is one of the 2 that we need. We just need the blue dragonhide chaps to be done with this task. With that, we hit 57 hunter. Another fun fact is, throughout all of this, until I get the item we need, I'm basically gaining nothing of value for the account. There's small little things, but nothing massive. Well, except for experience. It's done. Okay. Oof, we are done. Is it Stockholm Syndrome or what is it? No, I just wanted to hit 58 so I could get a nature impling, so that preferably we'd be able to get a magic log. Oh, there it is. With that grind behind us, now I'm going to go ahead and quickly knock out the 50 firemaking requirement. It really shouldn't take too long, especially since we already got our woodcutting level pretty high. One of the hidden benefits of having gotten our hunter up is now when we see implings flying around the world, we can just go ahead and grab them anytime we see them. Alright Meg, what do you have for us? A cooking lamp. Now, I think I'm going to hold on to this, mainly because we will need to get our cooking up at some point. and it'd be a waste using it at this low of a level. So we're going to just put it aside for now. All right, 50 firemaking. Like I said, this is way better than doing the fletching, so I'll do this any day of the week. All right, we finally got enough gifted subs to go ahead and do a cooking stream. As you can see here, we are preparing some sardines. As is tradition with any RuneScape YouTuber, we forgot to record the level, but here it is, I got 20. We went ahead and knocked out a total of 30 cooking and then just used the lamp. I AFK'd some more firemaking just in case we roll one of the firemaking chunks around us. Even though the 76 thieving requirement is backlogged, I still feel like I should start training up a little bit while I'm here, just so that when it is time we can be a little ahead of schedule. I kind of started getting into a groove with things, and as I kept training longer, I started getting caught less and less, meaning my experience kept going up. Now, by no means is this fast experience, but it definitely did get a little better. So for the last task I wanted to work on for this video, I used some of the money that we had gotten from the fletching we did in the past to go ahead and put all of my resources into construction. I don't think it'll necessarily be super useful overall, but there are a few things that I think could be benefiting us, especially with the chunk restrictions. We might be able to get certain items through here that we couldn't otherwise. Training construction has reminded me of a fun story from back in around 2010. I remember I logged in one morning and I had been training construction. So I logged back in at my house and my hit points were 10 times higher. Let's say I was 42 originally, now I'm 420. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I found some game-breaking bug. I have so much HP, I could probably kill all the bosses. So I made sure not to log out, and I went and geared up and got ready to go do all this. And the first moment I hit an enemy, they had 10 times as much HP. The absolute letdown I had was palpable. Truth be told, construction has kind of always been my favorite skill, just overall. I thought it was so cool being able to design your own house, and I would spend hours and hours, trying to perfectly set everything up the way I like it. And I remember looking at some of the late upgrades where you had to add gold leaves that were hundreds of thousands of gold and thinking, oh my god, how am I ever going to afford that? Just looking at it, I really do wish we could see a larger construction overhaul. Just looking at the game as a whole, I do feel like a lot of people like designing their house, but it really doesn't offer anything to the player besides a stat and a couple of small rooms that we might use once or twice. I really do hope sometime in the future we revisit the skill and think about what makes it so enjoyable to train whenever you have something to train toward. I know they added the fort training, which effectively just kills the house even further. I mean, now you don't even have to come to your house to pretend you want to train the skill, and then once you do train it up, you don't really come back to the house to use the skill on anything. So now it's just like the house is a byproduct of the skill. And as much as I do like the fort training being super AFK, there was just something so beautiful about getting your house designed just the right way, and you could have a house party and people would come over and your setup wasn't identical to anyone else's. It was like the one true piece of the game that you could have unique taste in. A special thank you this week to DW for subscribing and leaving a very nice comment. If you would like to get shown in one of the videos, please just add something nice down below and I'll shout out my favorite of that week. There's really not much else to say during this. It's really super boring and not a lot of unlocks. I did go ahead and try out the bagged plant method. It did give some farming experience, but it is quite expensive at almost 1,000 each bag. And the farming experience really wouldn't even equate to me raking the patch over by the docks. So I'm just going to fill out the entirety of my garden here, but I'm not really going to do much more than that. The method I started resorting to at this point was just going outside the portal and cutting the oak tree to get a full inventory of logs, turning them into planks at the plank maker, and then just coming inside and making whatever used the most planks. Doing this, we were able to make the tool storage, but unfortunately in RuneScape 3, there's not anything that you can't already have on your tool belt. Here's another level that ends in a 0 or a 5. Every step of the way, we're getting slightly closer to having better levels for if we do roll the fort. Oh, was not expecting that. There's 71 wood cutting while getting oak logs. Awesome. Here is 35 construction, just 5 more levels to go. Wouldn't you know it, there is 40 construction, the last level we need for this chunk. I still need to go get the logs and turn them into planks to make them into something. They added mahogany wood spirits to the grotworm drop table. Like, what does it mean for our chunks? I don't think it'll be anything too crazy. You know, you never really know what an update could do for your chunk, both benefits and detriments. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I wonder what happened with that ambassador's curse. Maybe you'll find out soon.